Hello everybody, I'm in the woods and I'm going to talk about happiness. Let's turn this around. This is somewhere we used to come every Saturday and do a litter pick, and this is my friend's woods. It wasn't hers yet when we used to start coming here. We used to come here every Saturday and she used to just invite any local families who wanted to come and help with the litter pick. There's a few rope swings and excuse me. Oh, they're building up at the school behind, that's why there might be some noises that interrupt us. And it used to be really hard for me to get up that slope. It's very steep and I've been recovering from some health conditions for the last few years. So when we used to come here, it was quite unusual for me to walk because I was using my mobility scooter and I couldn't walk for any stretch of time. But sometimes I had to try and go up and down that slope because the children, maybe one of them was stuck up there or someone wanted to show me something, or we were litter picking on this hill. Also, this used to be across, sorry about the focus on the camera, so we all used to sit along it and have our lunch, because at the beginning I could stay here for about 3 hours or so. All the machines have started on the building, and then I used to get anxious and feel like I needed to go home. And it wasn't the being outside that was bothering me, it was more about the socialising side of it. And I sort of used to reach a limit, and then I even remember one day I just felt like I need to go home now, as in right now, but I was relying on my friend for a lift because I didn't have a car and I didn't drive and etc. And I couldn't walk very well, as I said, and I had the children with me. And I remember feeling really panicked and trying to cope with the physical responses I was getting from my body from wanting to leave and not being able to. Not that there's anything wrong with the environment, as you can see. It was just this sort of maybe social battery thing. But over time I extended that bit by bit, and eventually we used to come about 9:30 in the morning and just stay here until about 3-4 p.m. There's lots of different parts that we used to go down. There's a river, there's a brook, down there. I'll show you this way. I'm going to walk this way next to the little bridge. And when I was just at the gate a minute ago, I was taking my daughter her foraging basket because my son and daughter are in the forest school here today, and my daughter really wanted her foraging basket, which is a new acquisition, is that a word? And I thought of it when Amanda was talking because my daughter is so happy with this basket. I think she might have bought it when we were down in Somerset. By the way, Dan, how come you didn't come? I felt rejected because you said you were going to come and then you deleted the comment, but I didn't know what happened. So if you see this, then you can let me know so I can just move on. So yeah, we went to Somerset. I think that was where my daughter bought the basket, and she's called it her foraging basket, and she's just made up with this thing. It's kind of like a perfect fit to her personality and lifestyle at the moment, and she's, well, not at the moment, like how she feels about herself and what she wants to be doing, and she's taking this foraging basket every time we go out, and she's been collecting all sorts of different things and also cooking using that stuff. So it's really wonderful, and it was making me think a minute ago that something that makes me happy is seeing someone happy, which is, I guess that's what you were saying, isn't it, Amanda? Because seeing you happy in that video just now, you had so much light coming out of you. It was absolutely amazing. As soon as I saw it, I was absolutely impressed by this kind of like light coming, you know, from the energy of you in that video. Your I suppose it must be your energy field, doesn't it? And then you were saying about how we affect each other and stuff. And I've forgotten where I was going with this. It is true. One of the things that makes me happy is seeing somebody happy. And it can be when they find something they're so passionate about and it lights them up in that way, like with my daughter with the foraging basket, or with you with these enlightened ideas that you've been sharing and benefiting us with. And almost sort of like transferring some of that raver, hyped up sort of energy that you'd kind of received from that other lady. And when I was really little, my mum has told me this, because my mum and dad didn't talk to me much. So when I've been told things, I remember them. I kind of tend to remember them, and they're quite significant. And my mum had said to me that when I was little, as a baby or a young child, whenever anyone came over to the pram or came to have a look at me, I used to give them this massive smile. And everyone used to say how lovely. I love connecting with people. And that's what helps me connect to myself. And then the sad side of it is that I have tried most of my life to not affect anyone at all because of some things that happened to me in the environment that I grew up in. I tried to just be invisible and not exist, and my self-expression wasn't safe because it would have me criticised or rejected or shunned or mocked or belittled. So I tried to not affect anyone at all, you know, to be on the safe side. And I guess that's what's disconnected me from myself all these years, because if the way that I connect with myself is by affecting other people, touching people emotionally, or sharing my happiness, my lightness with them, that had to be shut down as well, because that was all part of me affecting other people. So inadvertently I've closed myself off from being able to sort of attach with myself. I'll show you this bridge. And excuse me, I've said in the past, although not on here, that I had a sort of double life, because I've acted and been seen as extremely reserved, shy, silent, quiet by more or less everybody most of my life. But then when I used to do teaching, any other teachers passing my classroom, and then they used to quite often comment to me like, what is happening in there? Because I used to be really good at making all the children laugh, and I've just got this completely different persona, which is actually me. That is myself. Where there's people coming. I'm just going to stroll back this way for a minute. I'll show you the bridge after. There's the brook from here. Oh, if they're coming this way, then I'll turn around. So I could manage the class. I had to acquire that skill very quickly because, well, actually a couple of good reasons really. The first time I did teaching, I was another dog coming to leap up at me. Dogs seem to be leaping up at me a lot at the moment. he's not leaping. Just going along. Yeah, so, you okay?
Yeah.
You going this way as well?
No, I'm getting my dog.
Oh, are you getting your dog? Is he wandering off?
Ulta, come on. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, so teaching, yeah. I went to South Korea with EPIK, EPIK. At the time it was the government sponsored programme to bring native English speakers to teach in Korea at primary schools. So I went on that programme. I went to South Korea and I was teaching, and in the beginning they just give you this kind of crash course and say like, look, and it was brilliant really. They showed us things about Korean culture, and they also taught us important etiquette, for example like how Korean names work and the essentials about how to not offend people in Korea. And they gave us some like lectures about teaching skills, and it was really practical, immediate stuff that you could just use, and it was really great. So that just like how to get the class's attention at the beginning and how to let them feel that they've had a really good lesson, and like how to kind of what else did they cover? You know, like how to get them involved by moving themselves around or coming to the front, and all sorts of different things like that. It was great. So I picked up all this stuff quite easily and quickly, and I needed it when I got to the classrooms. Actually, hang on, was this the... Oh yeah, this is the first time I did teaching. So then after I went to Singapore and taught some small classes, and it was phonics. So I was teaching them how to learn how to read. And then hang on. So when I was in Korea, I had this amazing supervisor called Angel, and she was the, I don't know if she was the head of English, I guess she was. She'd lived in America. She was a really wonderful person. And she gave me a book, because when I started teaching I was at school, 2 schools. One of them was the one where she was based. And I told her like, oh, how do I do this? How do I do that? And she gave me this book from when she'd studied teaching, because she was a qualified teacher, obviously. And oh, there's a squirrel. Can't see it from this far. Yeah. So then there was good advice in that book about how to sort of use your voice in an effective way in a classroom, to like things like when you want a quiet class, you need to be quiet, so you know how to like drop your volume really soft so that the class pay attention and lean in to hear what you're saying, and you know, that kind of stuff. So how to interact, it was big help. I read that book. And then when I was in Singapore, then I had a parent come up to me quite near the beginning saying, oh, this is my son, what was he called? Something like Aiden, I can't remember now. It was years and years and years ago. He's got ADHD. So this was the first time I'd kind of come across and it wasn't as discussed back then, but I guess Singapore's probably a bit ahead with education related stuff, so that would include things like learning needs. And I said, okay, that's all right and stuff. And then I looked it up and I found out some advice about how to communicate with autistic children as well as like ADHD stuff, and that was just also similar. I just picked it up so quickly and easily because it was just relevant and I needed it straight away, and it was just like things that I would have needed to know anyway because I'm autistic with ADHD. I didn't know that, but it's like how to communicate in a direct way that can't be misunderstood by the child, so you're being fair to them by saying like, not like you need to pull your socks up, but like please can you do this for 5 minutes, you know, like, so it's not using any kind of like thing that they could misunderstand, being extremely literal about the way you say things and how that communication goes. And it's just stood me in good stead ever since, and it works for me as well because I can see like, oh, that's how I am. That's why I don't understand when people make jokes or banter, because I take it so literally. I can't see it any other way, even if they explain to me, oh, that was a joke, or like it doesn't actually mean that. It means that I just can't like change that my interpretation of like understanding something literally. So yeah. And when I was in Singapore, though, I had sort of like these little classes, and I used to there was a structure to how I was supposed to run the lessons. So that was great for me with my autism, because I knew what I was meant to be doing, and it was like the timing. I could follow the timing of how I knew that would need to fit into the 1 hour or whatever. And there was like a certain way of doing assessment that we did to see what level of reading they were, so they could join the school. And it was all sort of like laid out, but then I would have my own freedom within that to do things to connect with the people, connect with people in a genuine way, and just use it, base everything I was doing on their structure, but also I was there, my personality was there, so I need that freedom as well. That makes me feel happy. So that's kind of, I guess, like a summary of what makes me happy. It's being able to connect with other people, and when they show me their emotion, happiness or whatever else, because I'm a very deep person, so I know I could be way too deep for some people, they don't like it, but people who are like similar to me in that way, and they like to connect in a deep way, or they don't mind talking about serious topics or heavier things, that's a way that I find happiness, to connect with people over anything. Not anything, maybe anything. And having like a structure of what I know I'm supposed to be doing or what I need to be doing, and then having my own freedom within the structure of I still feel like I'm here as a human being, because how many minutes am I on? Oh gosh, that was longer than I expected. Okay, I'll just try and finish this idea I was going to say. When I was in London, I used to work for Westway Sports Centre. It was great. When I joined it was great. I was a duty manager, even though I wasn't trying to be a manager. I turned up to apply I thingamajiggy. I got an interview as a sports assistant, but when I turned up they said, well, have you considered the management roles, because I see that you've worked in management before, because I used to be assistant manager of the Japanese shop when it was a physical shop in York. So I was kind of like, oh, all right then, kind of thing. But I'm not management material at all, because I hate telling people what to do, and I hate the feeling that I might be controlling someone else. So that's just not a good fit for me. But anyway, it was a higher pay, and they were encouraging me, and they said, well, you've got the experience and stuff like that. So I ended up becoming a duty manager and the shifts and stuff. And then after a few months or so, like after 6 months or so, a role in marketing came up, and they had trouble finding the right candidate, and then someone internally recommended me to interview for it, and I got that job. They told me, like, you're better at this, you're like so much more suitable and better at what we want than the external candidates who've actually studied marketing. So they gave me that job, and they put me on like training, like really good training courses in London for like, again, just how to learn the skills that I would need for that marketing job. And I had the best handover ever. The lady who's leaving, Amisha, she had an exact way of doing everything. It was just my cup of tea. She was kind of like, and she just talked me through it all for like 3 exhausting days of handover of exactly how she did every single thing, when she did it, and how it all fit together. And she had all these, she's from Sri Lanka. I think she'd been on some kind of really effective like study herself to get to that point and to get that job, and then she kind of like handed it me in a nutshell, if you see what I mean, because she knew I was going to have to do all those things, and she was kind of like, oh Debbie, how am I gonna, right, so you're going to have to do this, you're going to have to do that. But it was just great. I'm so like grateful for that opportunity, and I did that job for quite some time, and it was absolutely one of the happiest times in my life, because I was in the sports centre with loads of people. It was like a big family. Oh, I'm running out of time because I was going to stop at 20. But then after a year and a half, they brought in and they were going to restructure it, and a lot of people got depressed and left and got stressed, and there was a lot of problems. And I was asked to move to the building, which was down the road, instead of being in the sports centre. And it was an office job. I can't cope with that because of my learning needs and stuff. So I just had to leave within about 2 weeks after being moved to the office. I tried to advocate for myself, but that didn't work out. But also I had this new manager, and she didn't let me have the freedom within my role. And bear in mind, I'd been thriving in that role. I'd received a lot of good feedback about how I was doing. But the new manager had this more kind of controlling management style, and the way that she wanted to manage me was just not, it didn't suit me at all. It was absolutely the opposite of how to get the best out of me as a person. So I left soon after that, and lots of other interesting things happened, but that was a very sad time. But yeah, that's what I mean. I need that freedom within what I'm doing to be able to feel happy. Oh, I didn't take you to the bridge, but I'm on 20 minutes now and a half, so love to you all, and bye for now.